up, dude?
How's it going? You're a busy guy right now, huh?
Busy, but it's been a weird, weird year for me in terms of like everything came together at one time. And I've said this a few times, like between launching the collective, NerdNode and DeEEP. I've been on a couple really pretty awesome vacations. One with my son to Japan, which was amazing. Took a lot of time there. Went to Alaska, and then obviously I had just had a newborn, so it was my second, and she's now 5 weeks old. So that's been a whole nother added thing. And I'm just now coming out of that. I just got back from a week out in the woods with some buddies of mine hunting elk. And I just got back last week from that. And so this is kind of everything came together, and that was my final thing. And so it's all kind of just flowing and kind of being a little bit more manageable. So it was a crazy 12 months from that to now. So
Man, yeah, you're in it. You're in it for sure.
How about you, man?
Super busy. Same.
Yeah.
We had a couple launches at Valley where we launched our nodes, and then we launched our leaderboards, which is happening all through Discord. Our developers figured that out, which is really cool. We launched a Valley bot. Within a day or so, hopefully, if sometime this week, we're going to launch our full launch of our game Flutter, and that will be on the leaderboard. So maybe we'll do a little bit of alpha here. So the way we figured out the emissions is it's going to be 5% of our daily Valley emissions is going to go to our Discord games, which people have been loving, and they're really fun and addicting. We've got like Wordle and Flip a Coin. If you really are like, I don't play games, you can play Flip a Coin, I think.
How degenerate are you?
Yeah, right. And then so that'll be 5% of the daily for the games. 15% is going to go to the online, PC, Mac, and mobile version of our, Valley games, which would be like Flutter, Alien Influencer, and all of our third-party titles. And then 80% will be for the arcade cabinets themselves. So we really wanted to make those special and get people out to play those games.
Dude, explain to me this arcade cabinet. I mean, that's what got me excited about what you guys are doing in the first place.
We partnered with a fun company who they build like the best cabinets in the world. They work with Bandai Namco and Sega and Raw Thrills and all the big boys and girls. Our developers created a way to seamlessly have these physical arcade cabinets that you're going to see in bars, arcades, movie theaters, malls everywhere across the world. You go up to the cabinet and you are interacting on the blockchain as soon as you start playing the game, which is really cool. A transaction hash is created before having to input any information or anything like that. And then if you choose to keep the Valley that you earned, which for a lot of people, once they see they've earned something, they don't want to give it away. So we think that we're going to onboard a lot of Web2 users that way. It's not going to be like creating a wallet or seed phrase or anything like that. It's going to be as easy as possible. And
it's gotta be
right. Like you guys know, it's all about making it as streamlined, as simple as possible, because that's why there's so much aversion, right, to Web3 is people are like a 16 phrase seed. I have to send money to an ETH wallet, and then if I go to Solana, it's just, I think everyone realizes that.
With your cabinets, though, so let's say I've got a bar downtown. I want to put a cabinet in there. I'm a bar owner. Am I the one that's hosting that node, that cabinet, and earnings, and then it gets distributed to the players, or how does that work there?
Good question, because there's a couple different things here. So the nodes that you can purchase a Valley node now, we are still in tier 2 for a little while longer. I think there's 10 left for tier 2 at $325. Those are what you would think of as a typical node, where you're a node on our ecosystem, and by operating it, you are rewarded in daily Valley. The first 500 will receive a second NFT, which is an NFT license for a DIY cabinet, but baking in the higher earning Valley platform software separately. Through Fun Company, we'll have our official Valley cabinets, which are going to look awesome. It's going to be like a UFO on top. It's going to be cool. Those are for sale for $5,500, which in the arcade world is actually pretty affordable.
Dude, that's a lot of quarters to get that 5,500 back,
It is. Yeah. And right. Like, I think your main question was if you're a bar owner, so you could purchase that $5,500 Valley official cabinet, or, and this is something that was actually kind of sparked from the community. a lot of community members want to purchase a cabinet and then immediately put it into, a bar, an arcade, what have
Yep.
you. So we're going to have a list of spaces that agreed to have a Valley cabinet, but don't want to purchase one themselves. So then we can send that to all of our community members who want to be on that list, where you can purchase a cabinet and say, hey, in Madison, Wisconsin, there's an arcade bar that wants a Valley cabinet. You can place yours there and do a rev share of, say, 50-50 or whatever you come up with.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I knew a guy that was he would go around and do like vending machines and put vending machines in places, and then he also did video game cabinets as well. So he got into that, and so he's got like 6 trucks and a bunch of employees, and he goes around and just switches out video games and puts them in different areas. And those are the kind of people that maybe they're going to have a few of those, and it all depends on what they get out of it, right? So what's going to be the best earners? What's their best earner?
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, I own an arcade bar with my wife, and the idea kind of came from, we saw all these younger people playing the newer like indie arcade games made in the vein of 80s style games, but they were playing like this game we have called Kung Fu Kickball and Black Emperor, like way more than Pac-Man and Asteroids, and we were like, what's going on here? So that kind of sparked that. But it's interesting because you mentioned like guy going around in a truck, right, with employees. The cool thing about what we're doing is, at the beginning, everyone understands like a cabinet, right? And we think we're going to onboard a lot of Web2 people who wouldn't necessarily go and create a wallet online, but would go to a cabinet and just start playing. But at the end of the day, I think what Valley, this might be more like, scale talk here, but for people that care about that, I think what we really are is going to be a niche competitor on a smaller scale, at least to start, of like a Steam or an Epic, because the secret sauce that we didn't realize when we were starting this company is that every developer that we've talked to wants to be a part of it, because all these developers are like, I can have my game in a physical arcade cabinet in arcades across the world. They're like, how do I do this? Because we have non-exclusive, so you can also be on Steam or have your own arcade cabinet or whatever. So it's been way easier for us than we thought to like onboard third-party titles, which has been awesome.
That's great. I mean, the more games you can get on there for people to play, and it gets a lot of eyes. So that's pretty awesome.
Totally.
I know. Totally. I think you've been talking with Tim over at NFTD a little bit, and because I know there's some interest there. That's cool. They got a lot of updates coming out this year too. So it's there's a lot in the Web3 community. We all, everybody's talking and trying to figure out how we can all help each other out. So
he sent over a video. I did not ask him to do this, but he has seen so many projects, and he sent over like this really detailed video, just DM'd me of like, hey man, I like what you're doing. Here's how I think of it from like my perspective. And it was awesome. It was so helpful. And I sent it to our devs, and a lot of the stuff we had already thought about, but some of it we hadn't, and it was just so cool to see it. So yeah, like you were saying, like the community aspect of like, we're all trying to like build everyone up is great.
We all lift each other up for doing the right things and helping each other out. It'll go the right direction. I mean, that's what got us started talking in the first place, in terms of, you're like, hey, I got a cabinet. Can I put a DeEEP device in it? It's like, like, why not? Like, let's figure out how we can do that, and as we go down the road, that might be a possibility. Somebody buys a cabinet and they get a DeEEP device.
I still think about that, because I think that would be amazing.
And then you start talking about the earning potential for those people with those cabinets. It just goes exponential. We've got a couple other partners that we're hoping to do some announcements here soon that, they have a DeEEP device, like you can add this on and you're going to earn more with it. And it's, it's not a node, it's something completely different. So that'll be some new stuff. But those are the things that I love to see. Like, how can we help you? How can we help each other out? And, obviously DeEEP is being developed by NerdNode. And obviously with your nodes, what we're doing right now is, with LFG, the LFG nodes that are out there, we're working to get those as a one-click deployment with NerdNode. So, whether it's you guys at Valley or Flip It or whatnot, their clients can come in and say, hey, I want to run this node, but I'm having trouble with it. What do you do? And it's like, you come to NerdNode and you click the button, maybe 2 buttons, we'll move it down, but make it as simple as possible so we can, get your guys' network up and running. offload. We're migrating all those to the DeEEP network too, so they'll be decentralized. And we can guarantee those uptime for your clients, for your network, and make sure that they're earning. Because that's why they buy the node. They want to make sure that they can earn too. So that's big goals for us.
Yeah, and I can say that I know that our community has already benefited from NerdNode and the DeEEP network. NerdNode specifically, I think you guys put together a video, and that was really helpful because some of our community, these nodes can be difficult, at least for first time, users of it. And I think you guys make it super clear. So that's great. It's a great option for sure. And I know I'm excited about the physical devices that are those shipping out soon? Or
yeah, we got a whole bunch sitting in our literally right behind my wall right here. There's a few hundred that are getting all the BIOS and the operating system all situated, and on the other wall that way we got a whole bunch of shipping labels that are getting printed out, and things are starting to get pushed out. So hopefully we start seeing stuff moving at the end of this week, and those early buyers will start to see their stuff, so we can. I'm so excited, just like I'm sure you are, to get it plugged in and start to see things happen. It's like, it'll be really cool. So
yeah, man.
I need to put this out so I don't forget, because we got a discount code for all your peeps. It's NerdNode 50. So so everybody will get 50% off their first month.
Awesome.
I guess it is case sensitive, but we'll have Manny put it in the video. But it's NerdNode 50. They get 50% off the first month. They can do also they're going to be able to. If they want to be an affiliate and push their name out there, they can DM Chris if they want to get referrals and stuff like that, and we can do a little extra for those people as well too. So so we'll just get people in there and get them running and make sure we can get this stuff rolling for you.
Yeah, man, that's great. What you guys are doing is awesome. It's super helpful for a lot of these projects, and it's a symbiotic relationship, right? Because like we kind of feed off of each other. It's great.
Let me ask you this. So when you look at yourself, I know you've got, because you're a builder, so you've got different visions of all this stuff. So, we've got the imminent bull run everybody's, hoping for, that's coming this next, year. Where do you, everything goes up in a bull run. So yay, that's going cool, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, is it just cabinets?
So I think that we are going to have cabinets all across the world. How many? That's a great question. I don't know if it's going to be 100 or 10,000. But what I think will be in 5 years is a self-publishing infrastructure for gaming.
Nice.
It's a great way to onboard people who are not Web2 gamers, but really not even gamers. Because like at the arcade bar that I own, we see people come in all the time that would never play a game otherwise, but in a communal space, they see a cabinet, it looks fun, they go and play it. Then they're going to start seeing Valley accruing. They want to keep that. You don't want to get rid of something you won. That's a really psychological human nature thing. Like, oh, this is mine, I want to keep it. We made it as easy as possible for them to do so and create an account. So then you've got all these game devs who we don't have to sell to them. Even right now, they want their games that they've made, whether it's a person solo dev indie game or, team 20-person team, in cabinets all around the world. And that's kind of our secret sauce, is they really want to be in arcade cabinets.
Like I told you, I just got a new house and I have a shop that's out there. I'm fixing it up, and it's going to be a man cave / put my podcast room out there. And
cool.
I'll have one of those arcades in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, you got to. I'm looking forward to seeing like the DIY cabinets. What the community comes up with, like, all different sorts of things have been tossed around, and then we'll have our official ones that are going to be badass from a fun company. I'm almost 38, so I was at the tail end of the arcade. In the early 90s, I went to arcades. And then I saw them like go away, even very beginning of the 90s. But then there were still like bowling alleys and malls. So I feel like I have like an understanding of it, but not like, the early 80s when it was really the golden age.
But they're making a resurgence though. I mean, just in my town here, there's 3 that I know of. They're arcade bars, right? Or just arcades. And one of them's, attached to like a chicken wing place. But, they're a fun place. People go in there all the time. Or you go to like a Chuck E. Cheese, obviously, or, those kind of places. So they're there.
Yeah. But yeah, and I was just talking to someone about this. So arcade bars are awesome. I love arcade bars. And they're, I think, the closest thing we've had in a long time to like the arcades of the 80s, but they're not quite the same. And that's really what we are trying to do here at Valley, is how do you get a little bit of that magic back from the 80s, where you would stand in line and watch people, try to get a high score.
High score.
Yeah, it was about the high score. And, then once you could play these games at home, that's, I think, when some of that magic started to go away, because instead of going with a pocket full of quarters to the arcade, you would kind of, I'm going to play at home. So I think if we say, hey, you can earn at a much higher rate at the arcade again, that's what we're trying to drive people out. And
yeah,
it'd be so cool to have a line of people playing these games because they know that they can get on the high score leaderboard and earn something. That's the goal here.
Oh yeah, those were fun times, man. Like good times.
Totally. And yeah, I should mention, you can play our games on PC, Mac, and mobile as well. But you'll earn higher at the arcade.
That's why I got to practice, before I go out to the arcade and in
Exactly.
public. It's like that's the Super Bowl, so I go out in public and then I'll play. So work it out at home.
Yeah, you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of all of your fans at the arcade.
I got two questions for you. What's your favorite game that you're putting on there? And it may not be one that people even know about yet, but what's one that's coming out that you're gonna come on, release it? Let us know.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
Man.
What does it rhyme with?
It rhymes with schmortle, but I can't say it. I'm sorry, until we sign at least the LOI. It's a game that I don't think many people would have heard of, but it's just so fun. It's insane. It's a third-party title.
What kind of game is it?
It's a it's like almost like a 2D side scroller, but with a twist, and it's super fast paced.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
Nice.
And it's high score arcade style game. And then we've got a bunch of games coming out, and I'm excited. Yeah, I'll come back on here when I can announce some actual games, but I wish I could.
Cool, man. Well, I'm going to hold you to that.
I've got a question for you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I would love to hear your long-term plan for NerdNode and Deep Network, maybe medium and long-term, and then B, what is your favorite classic arcade game?
I'll start with Deep itself. We've got our 1776 is our goal to get those out. We've got testnet. Once we get these first 580 sent out, people plug them in, hopefully get the 1776 sold out, so before testnet's done, so all those people can earn their testnet tokens. So when we convert over into the mainnet, they'll all get the Deep tokens there. I really want to see, my goal is to see those people be very pleased with the amount of distribution they get, because as I roll into NerdNode, we're migrating all of NerdNode's customers over, and NerdNode there's 40 new node ecosystems, not counting LFGs or any of those. These are all different ones, including ETH validators and other blockchain validators that are going to be available through NerdNode and onto the Deep network. Once we get these, because a lot of these nodes, they operate on a very similar platform. Like you can categorize them into, I think it's 3 or 4 different platforms. And once we have that built out to where it's the one-click deployment or close to one-click deployment for people, then it's just a matter of adding all these other node ecosystems that are very similar. And I would love to see us, offering, hundreds of different node ecosystems through NerdNode in the long term, if not thousands, and being that kind of conduit there. And then as we go long term with Deep, I would love to see other NerdNode type companies, because there's a few of them out there that are similar to us, not as full suite as we are, but they still operate and operate nodes for other people. And we're in contact with a few of them, and we want them to bring their workloads to the Deep network too, to make their workloads completely decentralized. Long term, I want to see that Deep network expand out into many different people operating like a NerdNode on it, and that ultimately is just going to really increase the distribution and the shared revenue to those device owners. So cool.
Exciting. Favorite arcade game, classic.
Oh yeah, well, see, classic and this probably isn't my favorite one, but I remember being so enamored with the Top Gun. Like, if you remember, it was the full sit down
Oh yeah.
Top Gun,
Yeah.
like flying one, which was super expensive. It was like nickel arcades, but that one was like
Mhm.
$1 each time to play it. I
Yep.
remember just always wanting to waste my money on that one because you die so damn quick and you're paying
Yep.
$1 each time. But that was like the coolest thing, seeing that come into play, because you're like in the cockpit, you know, and I always love that. So
Those are great.
that's probably the one that comes to mind the most.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, we've got the Lost World where you're in the cockpit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I think the early 92 or 93. That's great. Cool,
Awesome.
man. Yeah, if anyone's in Bangkok from the 9th through the 15th, come. We'll chat. We've got a booth, I think, at a few. We just found out we're like right in between Binance and the Sandbox. Their booths are going to be much bigger than ours, but we got a good spot.
If you're right in the middle, though, they got to go right by you, so that's good.
Got to go by.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm speaking at a few things there, but yeah, hit me up. You can purchase a ValleyNode now. The first 500 come with an additional NFT license to build your own DIY cabinet at the higher rate. And our official cabinets, the pre-sale is launching this week, so check it out.
Where's the easiest place to find you?
ValleyEcosystem.com.
So we'll link it all in here too, so people can just click it instead of typing it in. You know, so
cool.
Awesome, man. Well, it was really a pleasure talking to you, and we'll do it again because I want to hear that what the name of that game is.
Oh yeah, and get some rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll happen one of these days. Cool,
Days.
man.